Hey everyone, and welcome to your Daily Digest for India. Today is February 14th, 2026, and wow, we are breaking down some seriously big moves happening all across the nation. We're going to be talking about some real game changers in the economy, massive new plans for agriculture, and even some key updates to national policy. So let's just jump right in.
Okay, so here's what's on the docket today. We're talking Adani's huge jump into nuclear power, a state budget that is absolutely smashing records, and a total revamp of how the nation's economic data is even calculated. On top of that, there are these massive new initiatives for farmers, some updates on national protocols, and a really important health awareness day. It's a packed day.
First up, let's talk about the economy. We're looking at a corporate giant making a huge bet on nuclear power, a state budget that is just eye-wateringly large, and a fundamental shift in how India even measures its economic health. I mean, these are the kinds of moves that have some serious ripple effects.
All right, first up, this is a massive headline coming out of the energy world. Adani Power has officially thrown its hat in the ring, announcing it is entering the nuclear energy sector. This could be a huge shift for India's entire power landscape.
So, to do this, they've spun up a brand new company just for this purpose, Adani Atomic Energy Limited. But here's the really crucial part, right? The timing. The government only recently opened the door for private companies to get into the nuclear game. Adani is one of the very first to step through that door. And that, my friends, is what makes this a really, really big deal.
You know, just think about this for a second. You've got this one thing happening over here, a giant company like Adani making this major strategic pivot into a whole new energy source. And at the exact same time, the entire country is changing the very rules of how it measures its own economic pulse. It's just a fascinating moment of change happening at both the micro and macro levels.
And speaking of huge economic news, let's talk numbers for a second. Uttar Pradesh just rolled out its budget for 2026-27, and the scale of it is just, well, it's staggering. So just how big are we talking about here?
Get this, a whopping 9.13 trillion rupees. That's not just a big number. It's a massive 12.2% jump from the budget they had just last year.
Now, of course, the government's line is that this huge spending is all about pushing development forward. But they're also trying to make it clear that they can do this without letting the debt spiral out of control. It's that classic balancing act, right? Spend big to fuel growth, but try to keep a lid on things and stay fiscally responsible.
Okay, and for our last bit of economic news, and trust me, this one is a doozy. India is literally changing the way it measures its core economic health. The very tools we use to understand the economy are getting a major overhaul. So, what does this actually mean? Well, here's the breakdown. The base years for the biggies, like GDP and industrial production, are being updated to reflect the economy as it was in 2022-23. The way we measure inflation, the CPI, is also getting a refresh to a 2024 base year. And we're going to start seeing all this new data roll out over the next few months. Think of it like this. They're updating the entire operating system for how we see and understand the economy.
All right, let's shift gears now. From the high-level economy, let's zoom in on its absolute foundation, agriculture. There are two huge new initiatives getting underway that could be real game changers for farmers in India.
First up, we've got the official rollout of this incredibly ambitious project, the world's largest grain storage plan. I mean, the name pretty much says it all. This is about building up storage infrastructure on a scale we've just never seen before.
So why is this such a big deal? Well, it's because this plan is trying to solve a bunch of problems all at once. By building up storage right at the local level, through the cooperative sector, the goal is to make our national food security stronger, slash all that waste from post-harvest losses, and maybe most importantly, put more money straight into the pockets of farmers.
And that's not all. The focus on agriculture doesn't stop with just grain storage. The government is also kicking off another major initiative, and this one is aimed squarely at India's absolutely massive dairy industry. They're calling it White Revolution 2.0, and the goal? It is absolutely huge. They want to see a 50% increase in milk collection through dairy co-ops in just the next 5 years. Now, to put that into perspective, they are aiming to collect over 100 million kilograms of milk every single day by 2029. That is just a mind-boggling undertaking.
Okay, for our final section today, we're broadening our lens a bit to look at updates on national symbols, our cultural heritage, and a really important day for public health awareness.
Okay, so here's an interesting update. The Ministry of Home Affairs has just issued a new, very specific protocol about how India's national song, Vande Mataram, and the national anthem, Jana Gana Mana, are supposed to be performed at official functions. So, what's the new rule? It's pretty straightforward. From now on, at official events, if you're going to have both the national song and the national anthem as part of the ceremony, there's a strict order. Vande Mataram is to be performed first in its entirety, and then you have the national anthem, Jana Gana Mana. This whole directive is just about standardizing the protocol everywhere.
Also happening today, the nation is commemorating the 202nd birth anniversary of Swami Dayanand Saraswati. He's remembered, of course, as a really pivotal social reformer back in the 19th century and the founder of the Arya Samaj, who really played a significant role in shaping our national consciousness.
And finally, shifting over to health. Today, February 14th, is a day that's observed all around the world. It's World Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Day.
So why does this day matter so much? It's all about shining a global spotlight on structural heart issues that are present right from birth. It's a really crucial reminder about just how important early detection and effective treatments are, and making sure every single patient gets the inclusive and comprehensive care they need.
Wow. Okay, so after that whirlwind of news, let's take a breath and pull everything together. What are the key takeaways here? What's the big picture from everything that happened today?
So what's the big story today when you connect all the dots? What we're seeing is this incredible economic ambition, right? From private companies making huge bets on new sectors to governments putting forward these record-shattering budgets. We're also seeing this intense focus on shoring up the very foundations of our agriculture. And of course, we touched on the evolving social and cultural fabric of the nation. It's truly a day of major moves on so many different fronts.
So you've got a massive state budget, a brand new player in the nuclear game, and a total rewrite of how we even measure the economy. These aren't just one-day headlines. These are the seeds of India's future being planted. The real question you have to ask is, as these seeds begin to grow, what kind of country will they create?